5 things never to say to an insurance adjuster. Hi, I'm attorney Justin Elsner. I want to give you guys some tips on what not to say to an insurance adjuster. So you start a phone conversation, somebody usually might say, hey, how's it going? You say, oh, I'm okay, how are you? Well, that I'm okay can turn into a statement in the adjuster's notes that you're not hurt, you're okay, you're fine. So avoid saying things like that. And that's generally why we recommend not talking to an insurance adjuster at all, is because of things like that. What you shouldn't say to an insurance adjuster is, yes, sure, I'll give a recorded statement. Recorded statements can always be used against you. A lot of times the way the insurance adjuster phrases questions, that they might elicit responses that really aren't what you meant, and so that could be used against you. Additionally, I would never say, yes, insurance adjuster, I will sign a document releasing all my medical records to you. They will oftentimes want you to sign a medical release authorization so they get your medical records when to sign and pay bills. But if you look at those closely, they usually don't have a date range on them. And so if you fill that out, they might request records for your entire life. And oftentimes, you know, for privacy reasons, you don't want to give out all your medical records for your entire life. Additionally, I would never say to an insurance adjuster, yes, I'll settle the claim even though it's been just a few days after my collision. A lot of times the first few days after your collision, your nerves are still kind of wound up, your adrenaline is still wound up, and you really don't know the extent of your injuries. And the reality is you're not going to know the extent of your injuries until you're done treating. And so I would never settle a case in the days and weeks following collision. You need to make sure you give yourself plenty of time to heal. You have 3 years from the date of the collision to either settle your case or file a lawsuit. So there really is no reason to rush into settlement. And lastly, I would never say, oh yes, I might be at fault, or maybe this is partially my fault. That's a lot of times a complicated decision to determine who is at fault. But if you kind of go with their lead, where they may try and suggest that you're at fault, or maybe you could have done something differently, is a surefire way to get your claim denied. You know, a lot of times insurance companies will act like you should have been able to swerve out of the way, or maybe if you looked in your rearview mirror, you could have moved over a lane if somebody was about to rear end you. But a lot of times you can't avoid getting hit by a negligent driver, and so you don't want to do something in your communications with the insurance adjuster to make it seem like you agree that maybe you could have done something to avoid the collision. So those are my 5, what not to do, what not to say with an insurance adjuster. If you have any questions about a car accident claim, happy to give you a free consultation. Feel free to reach out. You can call or text us to set up an appointment, and we'll walk you through the whole process.